Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Bahir Fuad, and this is part 2 of the farewell pilgrimage, Hijjatul Wada' of the Prophet ﷺ. In the first part, we talked about his keen desire to deliver the message of Allah and to explain the basic principles. And he stated that the life and possessions of a Muslim are sacred and to be safeguarded, and that he left the Book of Allah, the Quran, and his Sunnah tradition, and that Muslims should hold on to them. If they do, they will not be misguided. And this occurred after Surah Al-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ, was revealed. Among the other things the Prophet said is that Muslims should return what was entrusted to them to the rightful owners, because this is an amana, is a trust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala في سورة النساء إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل إن الله نعم ما يعظكم به. Allah orders you to return what was entrusted to you to their rightful owners, and when you judge between people, that you judge in fairness and justice. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching you and reminding you. And among the characteristics of Allah's righteous servants is that وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. They are faithful to their trusts and to their promises and their covenants. The Prophet ﷺ also said that usury or riba is forbidden in Islam. And the Quran confirms this. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. Those who are doing riba, eating riba, do not stand up except like a person who Satan has affected him. ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا, because they say that buying and selling is like usury. وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. Allah made buying and selling lawful, but made usury unlawful. فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله. If a person now realizes and understands that usury is wrong and he stops doing this, then his affair is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ also gave advice to Muslim men to take good care of their wives, because he said they are helpless and dependent on their husbands. At that time, women did not work outside the home, had no income of their own, and were dependent on their husbands. Tradition changes, times change, but the general principle is to take good care of one's wife is valid and important and must be observed. في سورة النساء, chapter 4 in the Quran, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, live with them in terms that are proper and acceptable. And وفي سورة الروم, chapter 30 in the Quran, ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها. Among the signs of Allah is that He created for you from amongst yourselves spouses in order that you may find in them peace and tranquility. وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة, and He established your relationship on the basis of kindness and mercy. إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Indeed, in this are signs for people who reflect. the Prophet ﷺ was keen to deliver the message because he felt that he may die soon and he wanted to discharge his responsibility. And this is a lesson for every one of us, that we do not know when we are going to die, and we need to fulfill our obligation and our trust and to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, and to feel that we have done our duty. So what I tried to relate to you in these two sessions, to learn from the farewell pilgrimage, the address the Prophet ﷺ did do to Muslims, emphasizing the principles of Islam and that they need to hold on to the Quran and to his Sunnah or tradition, that the life and property and family of a Muslim is to be safeguarded, and that Muslims are brothers one to another and they need to help each other, and that usury, in the sense that may lead to a person being enslaved to the person who is lending him the money, so the one in debt becomes completely dependent and enslaved and loses his home and his possessions and everything else, and this is unlawful in Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ advised Muslim men to take good care of their wives. I try to do my best and explain these principles and give evidence from verses of the Quran. If I made a mistake, it is my fault, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me for that. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه وادعوه إنه سميع قريب مجيب الدعاء.